Actually, I might.
Okay. Is it started?
Yep.
All right. You
You
want me to count this down now?
Hang on. Let me put some headphones on because I'm getting.
Blah, 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 blah.
Don't like that you can see my arms. Like I need sleeves.
Okay, I'm ready when you guys are ready.
Following the invisible script.
The what? As I was picking a hair off of my tongue, that's like the last sentence you want to hear.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Did not manscape. All right. Let's start this recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. It's going. And we're going to start the show in 5, 4, 3. Good evening. Happy Halloween. Welcome to Screen Bloody Movies. I messed that all up. Let's start again. All right. You ready? Let's try it again in 5, 4, 3. Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is our Halloween special for Screen Bloody Movies Season 4. The podcast where we review 2 horror movies, go over the horror news, and Derek puts in maximum effort for his costume.
Hey.
What are you supposed to be?
Here.
T-shirt man?
Here. Yeah, we're lucky I showed up today.
He's a psychopath. They look like everyone else.
Exactly.
I think I claimed that one last year, Lydia. I'll be honest with you.
Can't use that again.
He puts in maximum effort every year for a Halloween special.
Well, sorry, guys. Next year, I promise I'll blow you away.
Okay.
If you put effort in, it will be. Well, guys, as you can see, we are appropriately dressed because we are doing Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers Producers. We've got 2 movies to talk about. So I, of course, am dressed as Michael Myers, and Lydia is dressed as Michael Myers as a child, and Derek is dressed as Michael Myers' accountant that works from home.
Yeah. I thought Lydia was dressed up as either a killer clown or Pennywise.
I've also gotten Juggalo, and and my dogs are terrified of me right now.
You smell like her, but what happened?
Yeah, like what's wrong with your face?
We got a great show for you, but in order to continue, I'm going to have to change out of my costume because I probably don't sound good, but I think I look good. I think the glasses really are the nice touch. What do you think?
I like them.
Yeah, you definitely come across as a serious mass murderer.
It's like alternate reality Halloween 6.
Let me just say this. As someone who has been a lifelong fan of The Shape, and I have to give him even more props because, after wearing that mask for just that short amount of time, I realized the effort that he has to go through to murder all of those people in this mask and to just constantly wear it,
Are you giving him a pass for being a mass murderer?
He's our superhero. He gets all the passes. I'm going to put The Shape where he belongs, and then we will continue. So, guys, how you doing this Halloween-ish evening? I mean, obviously we're recording a little early, but it's Halloween for us now.
I'm doing great. I had a paranormal market convention that I what would you say? I vended at.
You vended.
And I dressed up as like kind of a scary ghost lady, and I had like my tent was set up like a haunted house, and I scared so many people, and it was glorious.
And that's great, and great job on that. It looked like it was a lot of fun. Derek, you were giving a bunch of thumbs down, so you're not doing the best this evening.
It's been a rough weekend.
I can attest. I also am getting over a cold, so if I cough during this or, otherwise, I don't know, phlegm, whatever else I do, cough, pass out, any of those things, it's because I'm sick. But I was not going to miss the Halloween episode because you guys deserve it. And this is a big episode because, like we talked about at the top of the show, we're doing 2 movies, and we've got a lot to talk about with this movie, this thing, as it were. But before we get into any of that stuff, guys, I got a little bit of horror news. And let's start with this right here. This is interesting and a lot of fun. I'm going to share this with you because you guys will dig it. Fox is releasing, or Disney, I suppose, is who it is, from 20th Century Studios, are releasing Alien Romulus on VHS. Look at this.
What?
On VHS. Wow.
Yeah. Limited edition. What do you think of this? Look at this.
I mean, is there a market?
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
There is.
There will be now.
There's a niche market for this stuff. We don't have. Do we have? Yeah, December 3rd of this year. It's releasing. It's a fully functioning VHS tape, and it's in full screen, 4x3. So just like an old VHS. There is a market. Cough number 1. There is a market because I bought Victor Crowley on VHS, signed by Adam Green.
Yeah, but you're weird, so
I'm the market.
I'm kidding.
I'm the market. What do you guys? Would you guys buy this? I mean, you want to watch it once on VHS. I mean, you want to watch this movie in 4K because it's beautiful and glorious, but it's fun to watch stuff in VHS sometimes, right?
Yes, I really love the idea of watching things on VHS on like an old TV. Like, I just love it. I watch things on like YouTube that look like they're on VHS just for the vibes.
So I don't own a VHS, but if I had the inkling to do that, I would definitely want to be like back in that time frame. Because man, the nostalgia would hit real hard if you watch. But you'd have to watch it on a TV that like fit the era too. It would be one of those fucking 40-pound, 13-inch.
Yes.
Tube television.
Yeah, CRT. You'd have to have a CRT TV. I watched Victor Crowley on my 4K TV on VHS, and it still was fun. Still looked fine. But yeah, I mean, you'd want to in a perfect world. When I was a kid, we had like a 40-inch TV in my mom's house, which was pretty big. And, that was like super big screen back in that day. And my dad's, at my dad's house, we had the big box projection TVs. Remember those guys?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember that in your parents' house.
Yeah, it lived forever. It lived clear into the 2000s. But that thing, I loved it because it was like watching a movie at the movie theater because it was projected.
Yeah.
Except the image sucked after a while because it started to go out.
So it started to get real dark.
Yep.
But until then, it was awesome.
And like sometimes you would get like a stink bug in there or something that would just like crawl across the screen from the inside, and you're just like, what are you doing in there?
Yes, that did happen from time to time as well. Get out of here, stink bug. What you say. Guys, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. You ready? They've announced that Luca... I'm going to butcher this person's name. Guadagnino, a filmmaker who did Bones and All and Challengers, is in final negotiations to direct a new interpretation of American Psycho.
Oh, American Psycho. Interesting.
What do you guys think?
Why? No.
Why are they remaking,
No.
why are they remaking every single thing? Why? That's what I want to know.
How are you going to top Christian Bale? Like, how are you going to do that?
I mean, that's pretty iconic.
It's gonna be
movie.
hard. It is an iconic movie, and it's a super well directed movie, as well. So I don't know. It's gonna be it's definitely
who's gonna be
their
in
vision.
It
It was Mary Harron's and is Mary Harron's vision for sure. The original one was. We don't know we don't have any casting news or anything like that, or even casting rumors. Just that they're talking about doing a new one.
So they're saying it's
Christian
a man
Bale,
that's
they're
going to
waste their money.
We also have so that person I said is going to be directing, yes, and Scott Z. Burns will be scripting it, and he's his most recent credit is Exploitations, which I've never heard of. It's an Apple TV show, but he did The Report, Side Effects, and The Bourne Ultimatum. So sounds like he's just perfect for American Psycho. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But,
I mean, they could have a rock musician that wants to redo a classic TV show. Just throwing it out there.
It does happen. It has happened.
Does.
It's not the best. So, guys, this news is fun for you guys. Kevin Bacon's Stir of Echoes is getting a 4K release.
I can get behind that news.
Yeah, this December. It's getting a 4K steelbook and a regular, but a 4K release from I don't know what the company is that's doing it, but yeah, it should be out this December. Nice. That's great, right? We really like that movie.
Yep, that was a really good one.
Yeah, it's celebrating its 25th anniversary.
I feel like that is one that is like, that could be remade,
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not a certified Stone Cold classic. It's a good movie, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a good cool story.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't think so.
It's got Rob Lowe in it.
It does.
Oh, with Rob Lowe. That's right. Okay. I don't think I've seen that one, but remake that one.
It's called literally Stir of Echoes.
Good one.
Thank you. CM Punk and Justin Long are starring in a new horror movie together called Night Patrol.
Oh, I like Justin Long. Wait, who's CM Punk? Did you say CM Punk?
CM Punk's a professional wrestler, and he's the coolest.
I forgot we're a wrestling podcast.
I mean, his MMA
career did not go well,
not take off.
But he is the best in the world.
Octagon, so I got to give him some kudos to that for sure.
Yeah, so this movie is about an LAPD officer, Jermaine Fowler, must put aside his differences with the area's street gangs when he discovers a local police task force is harboring a horrific secret that endangers the residents of the housing project he grew up in. What do you guys think?
Word, yo.
Yeah, you both were really silent, so I did not know what any of you thought.
We're thinking. We're still thinking.
Sounds cool. I'll watch it. I like Justin Long, and
I
I like
love
Justin
Justin
Long,
Long.
too.
Like, that's what I'm excited for the trailer, because I feel like then I'll be able to judge. But I mean, even without the trailer, I'm like, definitely high hopes if Justin Long is in it and it's a horror movie of any kind.
I mean, he has a good record with horror movies.
He does. I don't watch anything that's not horror, so I couldn't tell you, like, other than
Tangent here, but the last couple of days I've been able to like squeeze in some horror movies.
Nice. Which ones?
So I watched
I've been watching
Werewolf
some
Within.
too. Within.
Werewolves Within.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Is that a newer one?
It is.
2019 or 17, something like
Yeah.
that. It has the AT&T girl. I'll be honest with you. That's the reason why I watched it. She's a cutie.
That's the only reason you watched it.
That was the reason why I was like, huh. What movie?
And what else, Derek?
AT&T girl.
I got Salem's Lot, like the new one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, dude, I watched Evil Dead Rise. I got to watch Evil Dead Rise. I watched a lot of, like,
okay, we will,
go ahead.
We'll talk about all this off mic, because we've got to also talk about the, because we got to do basically all of those that you just named. So
yes, and it's the Halloween season. Like, I've been watching a ton of them too, and I'm ready to talk to you guys about them.
Yeah, I went through a couple too. Actually, I went through a couple of good ones and then one really terrible one I'll tell you about later. And finally, this last bit of horror news. Filming has started on the final installment of The Conjuring, Conjuring Last Rites.
Hope it's good.
Why do they definitively call it the last one? That's so stupid.
Because I guess they're done. Yeah, I know you want there to be more, because there's the possibilities
I
are
hate
endless.
when they close. It's like whenever they came out with Friday the 13th, the last Friday, or
Friday.
What was it?
It was the final Friday.
The final Friday, whatever. Or what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's dead. Like,
well, he was already dead.
You put yourself in a corner, man.
Here's the thing. This movie will be released in theaters on September 5th, 2025. But this isn't the end for The Conjuring. It's the last movie. But remember, they also have that TV series that's coming out on Max.
Oh, that's right.
See, they should interweave all that stuff.
I'm sure they will somehow.
They was smart like me.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I got it, man.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that because we haven't reviewed the third one yet, have we? We still have to.
We still have to do the third one.
Yeah, we have a lot of movies in the Conjuring universe to do. I think we've only done the first two Conjurings and Annabelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done any of the Nuns.
Nope.
Nope. We haven't done La Llorona. Haven't done any of those things.
La Llorona.
All right. And that wraps up the horror news. Guys, let's talk about tonight's movie. We have two films. We're doing a double here. We have 1995's Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Unknown Dates, Halloween, the producer's cut. Halloween 6, the producer's cut. So let's first, we'll break this down here in a minute. But first, let me hear your guys's. Let me hear your story with Halloween 6, the theatrical cut, because I know we've all seen that before. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
When did you first watch it, Lydia?
I watched it with my best friend Garth. Shout out Garth. I know he doesn't watch the podcast.
Off, Garth.
Yeah, what a friend. No, I'm kidding. Garth, you sound awesome. I'd hang out with you.
You would love Garthy. I think you two would get along really well. Let's see. So I watched it at his house in maybe like right after high school or around high school times. And I just remember, I think we were watching it while we were carving pumpkins on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having strong opinions about it.
Yeah. Derek, did you see this around the time it came out?
I did. I was looking up the date. So 1995. Let's see. I would have been 12. I'm trying to think if this would have been something that I would have conned one of my family members into taking me to see. And I don't want to say uncle. He used to be my uncle by marriage, but I think he rented it for us. I saw this movie, like, if not in 1995, it was like 96, 97. Like I saw it pretty young. But yeah, I remember watching this movie.
Yeah,
Dang.
I saw it. I saw it when it came out as well. Not in theaters. I remember it being released in theaters. I remember the trailers on TV because they would spook me. I remember I remember when it came out because I remember kids at school talking about it, saying, "Oh, I went and saw the new Michael Myers. It's so scary and stuff." And I remember renting it for the first time. So my origin story with this is, I told you guys before that when I was a kid, the Shape scared me, terrified me.
Oh yeah.
That was the one that I was afraid of, was the Shape. I was not afraid of Jason. I adored Freddy. I, of course, was never afraid of you, my friend. But I was terrified of Michael Myers. So when this movie came out, every time I saw the trailers, it was during that era that I was still afraid of him. And the trailer spooked me. And then when we rented this movie, I was so scared that I didn't watch all of it the first night. I had to watch it the next night because I was like, I just had to work up the courage to watch it because I was so scared of it. But I remember watching it, and at the time thinking it was pretty decent, pretty scary, because I'm 9 years old. I'm 9 when this
Right.
movie comes out, so I'm
Yeah.
9, maybe turning 10 when it comes out on VHS. So around 10. So I'm, it's still pretty scary to me. And then, of course, I got into my full-on horror renaissance, and the Halloween became my all-time favorite film. And then when you compare this one to Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, it's like, just, I mean, there's no comparison. You're like, what the fuck? But and even when you compare it to other sequels in this franchise. But so that's my experience with the theatrical cut, watching it the first time. So how I'm thinking we're going to break this down is, let's just talk about the basic plot, and we'll talk about the characters that are in both, and then we'll start comparing the cuts as well. And then we'll start, like, kind of pros and cons of each cut, and we'll go from there. What I will say is I became aware of the producer's cut when I was in high school. It was around high school time. So you guys didn't even know this existed, right?
No.
Until you brought it up like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. We were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So I heard about this because, again, I was in my deep horror renaissance, and I was finding out everything I could about every horror movie that I could see, and especially the Halloween franchise. They're my favorite. And so, actually, I think I have it over here.
Oh, there he goes.
I'll be right back. Give me just 1 second. Don't worry, we can cut this out. I meant to grab this and forgot because I'm sick and shit.
What are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
There are not a lot of female horror characters. Can Jamie and I create something and you dress up as a killer clown?
Hell yeah.
You do it?
I do it. I wanted to admit this to you guys that I have completely fallen in love with Terrifier. I had a
I'm anxious.
I watched Terrifier 2. I watched it. I watched the second one, and it was like right after we did the first one too. Me and Jake were just kind of like on a kick, and we were like, let's just do it. Let's just watch it. And maybe like a week later, I had a horrible nightmare about Terrifier, and it woke me up, you know, in the middle of the night, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was like, well, I'm up. I don't want to go to sleep ever again. That was so scary. And I think that like that fear like completely like kicked it into me, like my love of horror again. You know, like obviously I love horror movies, but like I just don't get scared by horror movies anymore.
Yeah.
And like I think like that fear like really made me think like this is a scary movie.
Can't find it, guys. Can't find it. So we'll cut all that. Sorry. Yeah, that's funny. That movie does not scare me in the slightest.
The movie didn't scare me, but like that
just the
nightmare
nightmare
did. Yeah, like that was like being in it was like not cool.
All right. We'll start again right here. So in high school, and back in the high school days, when I was doing the research, I found out about the producer's cut. And I was like, wait, there's another cut of this? And it was lost at the time. It was not available. It just was this mysterious mythological cut that existed, right? That people had bootlegs of. So back on the convention circuit, they were trading tapes. They were trading this tape, you know. And so in the early days, I can't find it. I looked for it, but I have it somewhere around here. But I had a DVD copy I ordered off of eBay. Somebody was doing bootlegs of the producer's cut. And so I got it, and it was horrible to watch because what it did was it had like DVD quality for the theatrical cut stuff, the scenes that they share. And then when it slice into the new footage, it would be grainy, awful VHS footage.
Mm-hmm.
And then with temp score. So it wasn't a completely finished film. But that's the first time I ever watched producer's cut was on this bootleg DVD. So I kind of had like this kind of holy grail nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. I finally got to see this mythological cut.
Got your hands on it.
It was pretty cool. Whoever put the DVD together did a good job. They had like a cover they made, and then they also had some special features on it which was just like some like B-roll and some like news stories from that time about like Access Hollywood pieces about Halloween 6. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
But so that's how I knew about the producer's cut. And then once it finally, when they, several years ago, about 10 years ago or so, they came out with that Halloween box set, was the first time that they released the producer's cut, for people, for consumers. So then I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, this is way better to watch because it's an actual movie,
yes,
with actual complete sound effects and score and color. So that's a little side. That's just my introduction to this. So where do you guys want to start with these? So,
well, we pretty much already know the characters. I mean, besides the actors,
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the casting?
It's interesting.
So here's the thing. I think Paul Rudd's performance as Tommy Doyle is really fucking weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
And I think he says as much as well.
Oh yeah, he knows for sure.
Yeah, because like the way he's like, when Michael Myers is here, I was there that night.
Yeah, with like the
on that
Boston accent.
Halloween. And you're like, what the fuck are you? What is this? But yeah, so I mean, he's still fine, but yeah, he gives a weird performance, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And like some of even like the way he moves is odd. You're just like, what is he trying to do here? Yeah,
Dude,
it's so weird.
The scene where he goes to the train or the bus station, and he's like, was there a train that you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did a
like,
bus come in here from Pittsburgh? Like,
why on earth did he not play that character as likable?
Yeah, like, it's really it might be directed. I mean, it's probably direction as well.
For sure.
Because I want him to be traumatized and like weird, but you need to at least make him charming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's traumatized and weird in the way that like in Friday the 13th part whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? 5.
Yeah, he's in part 5. Yeah. We haven't got to part 5 yet, I don't think, and that's going to be hilarious because that Tommy Jarvis is wow.
Yes, exactly. It's like it's almost like Paul Rudd is such a lovable guy and he's playing a lovable kid that we already love and root for. So like why is he being so weird? Like he could have been a sweet, friendly, messed up guy, you know, that has seen some crazy stuff.
Even if you would have made him more Loomis-like, just have him have more Loomis tendencies, it would have been a better choice, I think.
Like he's such a
so he's
puppy dog.
Hyper aware, you know.
Like he could have been like, he could have been like the puppy dog detective, like trying to follow in Loomis's path.
What do you guys think of Kara, our heroine?
I like her. I'll say I like her better in the producer's cut.
Yes, I agree. Yes, there's more to her character in the producer's cut.
Yeah.
What do you think of her?
Oh, Derek? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you going to say, Lydia?
I agree. Go ahead, Lydia. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Man, so I agree. She's probably one of the favorites because, man, when we get into some of these other ones, you're just like, wow, some of the performances in this movie are really hard to like.
And weird. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just, you know, some of them are just, in my opinion, not great. But yeah, I mean, weird for a lot of them is pretty accurate. Really, the best performances is the dad because you hate him so fucking much. You're just like,
I think that's not
you played your part well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's actually not great either. Like, it's just like that character is such an awfully written character. Yeah, that character is such an awfully written character. He has like zero nuance. He has more nuance in the producer's cut. Slightly more. But like in the theatrical cut, he's just like, I hate everything. Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, fuck you, guy.
Yeah.
He's not. The mom is fine too. They're both fine. I love how they named them John and Deborah, as in John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And then made them complete assholes. Like, great tribute. Great tribute.
Yeah.
So you don't like the brother. So you don't like the brother, Derek?
No, I thought the brother did a pretty terrible job. His girlfriend did an okay job. That disc jockey was pretty.
We got to talk about Barry Sims. We got to talk about Barry Sims here in a minute. But Danny, the little boy, he does fine.
Oh yeah, his cuteness just is everything.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he's a kid. You know, I don't expect.
Yeah.
When kids overperform, I'm like blown the fuck away. But he was he was all right.
Yeah.
The best performance in the movie is the best performance in every Halloween movie. It's Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis.
Yes, agreed. Fully agreed.
I love
He
how
is
they're like,
so
"Oh,
amazing.
we fixed his face. For plastic surgery, I had
Yeah.
like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Skin grafts."
Yeah, well, they're like, we don't want to put fucking 75-year-old Donald Pleasance in any more makeup if we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just write it out. But we'll talk about Dr. Loomis, especially when we get into the differences between the producers versus the theatrical cut, because that's where some of the biggest differences occur. Really, is the producer's cut leans more Loomis, whereas the theatrical cut leans more Tommy as our lead. Mm-hmm. So the opening to this, first of all, we have a new Jamie Lloyd, which is horse shit.
A little bit.
No offense to JC Brandy. She did fine, but she's not Danielle Harris.
Right.
Though, to be honest, I don't think I would want to see Danielle Harris horribly murdered in the first reel or stabbed and held up in a hospital for the rest of it.
Yeah.
They did Jamie Lloyd's character dirty in this film, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they did everyone's character a little dirty, but especially hers, especially hers.
Yeah.
Producer's cut's even worse.
Well, I don't know. I think it's not, because she has more agency. She's not murdered in the first 10 minutes. She's, she drives the plot still forward because they're trying to find out what happened to her, and she's still alive.
Well, the reason I say that is her death scene in the theatrical is more fun and better, and the second one is just kind of like
yeah,
it drives the plot for the second or the producer's cut, but the actual kill is just
but the kill for Jamie Lloyd to be horribly murdered that way, I don't like that either.
Yeah,
she gets shot in the head in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. They botched it all around.
Yeah,
but
and then so that's horrible. But the opening to the movie, I think, is pretty decently strong. It's not, I think it's pretty decent. What do you guys think? The opening to both movies, like opening.
I personally don't like the opening of the underground baby stuff. I remember that's one of the things that stood out to me when I was watching it for the first time with my friend, that I was like, I don't like this.
So let's just talk about that real fast. Okay. Because just to get it out of the way, the plot to both of these movies is fucking terrible.
Yes.
The plot is terrible.
That's the main problem of the movie.
Yeah. The plot is terrible. The Thorn cult is horrible. It's a terrible, stupid idea. That we can agree on immediately, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
It's just incredibly dumb.
Yes.
But as far as tension and stuff, I think the opening is decent.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. I guess I think
it has good, once the chase starts, it's pretty decent. I think the producer's cut chase is better because the music is better.
Yeah.
One of the biggest gripes for me on the theatrical cut is the horrible fucking editing.
Yes.
Where we have those horrible just flashes for no reason of just random shit.
Yeah.
And then we have the awful, just guitar. You're like, Whereas in the producer's cut, we have Alan Hallworth's music that is a Halloween score.
Yes, which is
it's literally
the way it should have been. What on earth were they thinking not doing? I have to say, not watching the producer's cut ever, and just sitting down and just watching the theatrical cut, and then that was days ago, and then watching the producer's cut, and I was like, this is cozy.
The vibes are better. Yeah,
the vibes are so much better, and it makes more sense. But we'll get to that.
Yes, we will get to that too. So, yeah, the editing in the theatrical cut is just a train wreck. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And they add more gore, which I usually like, but it's kind of distracting in the theatrical cut. Like when he breaks the dude's neck, it kind of doesn't make sense that random fucking bone pops out. You're like, okay,
Right. It's like I don't even know.
I
couldn't even process it. I was like, what?
So her death in the theatrical cut, we have an actual, she dies, like we talked about, and we get that she's like on a baler. Is that what it is? A hay baler, right?
I think so.
She
Yeah.
gets thrown on it, and then he turns it on.
Which is nasty.
It is nasty. What do you guys think of the shape in this? Let's talk about that first. That's another thing we got to talk about. His look.
Not good. Not good.
Not what do you think, Derek?
I mean, yeah, I wish we could have like a comparison of masks, because this one's unique to this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It was not very good. And then he looked a little. I'm fat, but like he looked a little more plump than what I remember, Michael.
Yeah,
that's the word I'm trying to go.
He's definitely stockier.
A little more stocky.
Yes, so it's George P. Wilbur playing him, who played him in Halloween 4 and did a great job. He's playing him in this one as well, but he's definitely stockier, and they padded him up more. And so during the reshoots, you'll see certain scenes where he looks way thinner because they replace him for the reshoots of the theatrical cut. But I don't
even think it's like the stockiness. It's like the way he's standing. Like, just does not look menacing to me in some of the scenes.
He kind of slouches. It's like a slouch.
Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know. It's almost, I can't describe it. It's just kind of, something's not, it's not the original, you know? And you're just like you spot it. It's easy to spot when it's not.
It's not, it's not, doesn't feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Authentic.
Yes, exactly. And the way, like the mask, I think looks okay, but it's the way that it's being worn. Like you can see too much skin, and you can see like it's not lit well.
That's the problem. It's not the mask. The mask, I think, looks fine. It's the lighting of the mask is terrible.
Yes. Like the shot selection of the mask is like, what were they thinking? I don't know.
It's not the best. No.
I'm like, hand me the camera, hand me the lights.
Yeah, it's it's not.
Let me fix this.
They're just like, yeah, that's good enough, I guess. Well, so yeah, when we talk about this plot, not only is the concept dumb, but like beats by beats don't really. In a theatrical cut, nothing makes sense. In the producer's cut, it all makes sense. It's just stupid.
Yes. Which is better.
So, yeah. So in the theatrical cut, like the movies, basically we just don't get a bunch of the Loomis scenes, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's some great performances that are left out. Like them at the, when they see James, when they go and visit the thing, in the theatrical cut, it's just him saying, "That's his mark," and then we cut to the next scene. In the producer's cut, we get a whole dialogue scene that explains more of the plot, and then we get some more Loomis. He's like, "Oh, I'm supposed that's a ghost they just wheeled out right here." And you're like, "Yeah, fucking Loomis shit. Give me some of that Loomis shit."
Oh, I could watch him. I could watch like just a cut of just him.
Yeah, just yelling at people. Hey, you get over here. Yeah.
And you could tell he's like older too, and it just makes him so much sweeter and more likable in every way.
Yeah, so I do like. I mean, it's interesting the way they weave everybody in. Everybody in town is listening to this fucking Barry Sims.
Yeah.
No show.
Like even like Donald Pleasance is listening.
Yeah.
Well,
Dr. Loomis, they did it. So in the theatrical cut, he just randomly listened to it. In the in the producer's cut, there's a line where he says, "Why are you listening to this idiot?" And he's like, "Oh, there's a program on about Haddonfield. I'm recording it." So it's like, oh, okay, at least that makes sense. Are you all right?
I think my headphones are gonna die or something.
Is it beeping on you?
Yeah, just like did a weird ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. I was like, I thought we were getting a news flash for a second.
So Derek, what do you think about Barry Sims and him as a plot device?
And it's weird. It's really weird. I mean, in either one, at least in the producer's cut, like the van scene, you get more context.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes 100,000% more. Because at one point, I'm just like, oh, well, Michael must have heard this guy on the radio, and so now he's out to get him. But that's not the case. He gets in the wrong fucking van.
Yeah.
And then he's talking shit about Michael, and he's just like, okay, well, I'll kill this bitch.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy.
You're just like, yeah, but you're just kind of like, oh man, he must have had it out for this guy because he listens to the radio too.
yeah, it's so dumb. But,
so that filled in a plot hole.
But that character is fucking wild, right?
Oh man, he's supposed to be a shock jock, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like Howard Stern.
He shows up in his fucking boxers, yeah.
Yeah. His dialogue is
on that
super
guy's
cringe.
girlfriend, man. I would have.
Yeah, he's like a total douchebag. But...
go. No, I wouldn't have been like that.
Dude, his lines are total cringe fests. Like when he says the whole,
something barks like a dog.
I bet she wears crotchless panties and barks like a dog. You're like,
yep.
All right.
Like, did you just really say that? Okay.
What a fucking weirdo. But yeah, so when we're talking about the cut comparison, when all of Danny's scenes don't make any sense in the theatrical cut, and they all make complete sense in the producer's cut. So in the theatrical cut, we just see the man in black randomly standing in his room, and he's just like, Danny. And then that's it.
Oh, yeah.
And
they
then
explain it like he's the next. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. We get explanation for why the man in black is why he's hearing the voices. It's because he's the next in line. They're grooming him to be the next one. And it's just that scene in particular, when we were talking about how we like Kara more in the producer's cut, that scene is a big reason. In the theatrical cut, she literally just comes in and is just like, go to sleep, Danny, and then leaves.
Yes.
And then the producer's cut, she has this whole cute banter with him, tells him he's okay, does this little ritual to get rid of all the ghouls. And you're like, what a loving, caring mother. And immediately endears you to her.
Yes, totally agree. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I never said that once in the other cut.
Yeah. Why would they cut that? That's such a fucking bizarre cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Such a bizarre thing to cut out. But
turns out everything they cut out was like pretty necessary.
100% necessary for it to make sense. Correct. So, guys, the kill of the mother. What do you guys think of it?
Okay.
In the backyard? And you put her in the
backyard with the axe.
Yeah.
He chases her after Dr. Loomis comes to visit.
I've watched this.
The mother. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched this a couple of times. When she comes down the stairs, is it because of that random box that she gets suspicious?
Well, the axe was in the box, and the axe is missing.
Ah. Missed that. I would twice.
Well, it's because it's not very. It's because it's not very well, like, telegraphed to us. So we don't get like a shot of her putting it in the box. You know what I mean? We just see her. It's like a wide shot of her putting it in the box. And then she brings the stuff in. If they would have actually gave us a shot of that, then it would have been more, oh, the axe is missing. So instead, there's nothing. That scene with her and Dr. Loomis is really good, though. Where he, especially in the producer's cut.
In either one, like if you're Dr. Loomis, I don't know that I would just randomly walk in people's houses.
Well, you would if you're Dr. Loomis and you're.
It's still not.
You have to think about this. Well, I bet you he did, but she was down in the basement, and he probably heard her, and he came in because he's wanting to make sure he knows the shape is out there.
Yep.
I understand. I would have waited.
So he comes in.
Especially if I knew that she was there. But
yeah.
He about gave her a heart attack.
Well, that's all right. She was fine. And he gives some great speech, and we get a great talking about Michael's evil and everything, and we get an elongated one in the producer's cut. In the theatrical cut, he's just like, "You've got to get out of here. Michael Myers is here." And you're like, great. He talks then in the producer's cut, he goes into detail about what happened and why he's out there and how he needs to stop him. But the kill itself, the chase and the kill is pretty decent, I think.
I, for some reason, cannot picture it.
You cannot picture it?
I can't picture it.
She's on the phone. She's on the phone and talking to John, her husband, who we find out they moved into the house because they couldn't sell it. And then she turns around and she sees, she gets a call from the man in black. She answers it. And then then she sees the shape and she runs outside. She's running through the sheets. Remember?
Did I look away? I don't know.
How do you not? This is the most iconic scene in the entire movie.
I must have looked away. I don't know.
The sheets are hanging in the backyard, and she's running through them, and she loses her glasses. And when she looks up, the shape, she pulls the sheet down, and the shape's standing there with an axe. Okay. And then we just get the blood splatter.
So I think I remember seeing it the first watch on the theatrical cut, and then I don't think I saw it on this one. Like I must have the puppy distracts me for 100% of the time while I'm trying to watch anything. So
it's the same. The music in the producer's cuts is way better.
Way better.
So we don't get any random wow. We get we get the Halloween theme playing.
Yes. Okay.
And then it cuts. Michael. And then we get the cut. And we get the blood splatter. I think that's a pretty good chase scene, don't you, Derek?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you just get the blood splatter, but yeah, it is. It's pretty suspenseful.
Yeah. And what's even more suspenseful is in the producer's cut is when Kara comes home after, first of all, we get more shots of the shape stalking her in the producer's cut. Like when she's at college and stuff, we get more of atmosphere, and we also get, down, down,
which felt more like Laurie Strode.
Yes, exactly.
And you even get a shot of her seeing some kids making out or something, and she's she's like, not for me.
Yeah, it feels more Halloween-like. Yeah,
it does. Yeah. Duh. Obviously, the music is the entire thing.
Is the thing. And then we also, when she goes to the house afterwards, after the mom is killed, and she's walking through the house, that whole scene is way more suspenseful in the producer's cut. Because it's it's letting it breathe. And we also see this thing framed behind her when she sees Tommy, when they go in and she finds Tommy with Danny. By the way, we got to talk about how dumb it is that Tommy
videotaping her.
Well, that's dumb too. But what's the dumbest is the fact that he hears that she's at the bus station. So he goes to the bus station, and she leaves the kid. She hides the baby in a cabinet. So first of all, when why did Michael not go back to the bus station? Because that's obviously where the baby would have had to have been, right?
Right.
But secondly, I like how it's daytime. It's the next morning, and nobody else has heard this baby crying in the bathroom or seen the blood trail that leads there.
I love Paul Rudd's face when he sees it, and he looks down and he sees it, and he's like,
yeah.
Nobody else has seen this.
It's so just absurd, right?
It's so absurd.
It
And
is,
along with his
it must be a
acting,
very non-active train station.
I guess so.
Well, and the baby must have been really quiet too until
that's the other
he
thing.
walked in.
Yeah. And then so the scene at the hospital fucking cracks me up too, by the way. We get more context, of course, in the producer's cut. It makes more sense why Dr. Loomis is there. In the theatrical cut, it makes no sense that he's at the fucking hospital.
He's just there.
Yeah.
He's just there.
He had an appointment that day.
In the producer's cut, we know that he's there because Jamie Lloyd's alive. That's why he's there. But when he says, I need some help with my baby. Give me a doctor now. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's wild, guys.
It is wild. It had to be the director. Because it's just so fucking random.
Yes.
But no one would act that way.
Yeah, in the writing. Yeah. But the fact that why would he just come in and yell instead of being like, hey, got this baby, I need help. Found it abandoned. Whatever I got to do, they'd probably be safer than it would be if you're just carrying the baby around. Probably be better in his police force or something, But anyway.
I think it's really, the whole thing is so strange that he takes the baby to his house. He's like, okay, meet me later, and walks away.
The way he walks away fucking makes me laugh so hard. The way he looks over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And we get that terrible shot of the woman and the security guards walking. Just a flat shot of it. It makes me laugh every time. I'm like, that's a horribly edited sequence, and it's so weird.
So goofy. It's so goofy.
So goofy. But guys, now we're getting into the good shit because we're gonna kill John.
Yep.
What do you guys think of John's death?
Down to this.
I mean, they're very different. I mean, there's a very different end result in producers versus theatrical.
Just a little different.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Down into the janky laundry room.
He deserved it.
He deserved it.
Shocking to say the least.
What do you think about the differences? Which do you prefer? The theatrical.
The only one I remember is the electrocution one. Which one was?
Well, that's how he dies. He dies in both. He gets electrocuted in both. But in the theatrical cut, his fucking head explodes for some reason.
Oh.
And then in the producer's cut, he's just electrocuted.
Yes.
And that one is more normal.
Yes. A little bit. Yeah.
The other one is just a little over the top.
They're trying to R this movie up, gore it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we get that, which is
I don't hate it. I think it looks good. I think it's done pretty fun. It's fun. I think, but also the toned down one is kind of more Halloween style.
Exactly. Exactly. The other one, the producer's cut is more in the style of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
The exploding head is more in the style of a Friday the 13th sequel.
Yes, it looks a lot like that.
And it's goofy.
It's goofy, but fun.
His death isn't terrible. Yeah, his death's good. He's got a fun one. But I love the one part of this movie I love is the scenes at the fall festival because it just feels like Halloween. When they're just, I love those scenes. I think they're well shot and they just don't they look like Halloween? It's nighttime. We got all the oranges and the leaves. Feels brisk.
Yeah.
No palm trees in the background.
Well, hey, when you're making a movie for $275,000, Derek, you fucking shoot where you can. But
no, I agree. It definitely had a strong sense. You knew, like it just felt like small town goodness.
Shenanigans. You know?
it was good. I like that a lot. So the Raining Red scene is different in both cuts as well. Because in one, she just says it, and then in the producer's cut, she sings it.
Yeah.
Mommy, it's raining. It's raining red. Mommy, it's raining. It's raining, which is creepier, I think.
I don't like either, honestly.
I think it's all right. I think it's kind of cool.
I like the theatrical one better, though. I have to say, I was like, what is wrong with this little girl? She's like old enough to know what blood is.
It's well, that's a casting issue.
Like, I just didn't. I was just like, what is happening? Like, the choices in this movie just keep getting crazier.
Are bizarre. It is very funny that, you know, he falls from the thing. Barry falls from the, and you know, Tommy's like, and Dr. Loomis just kind of runs up like, what the? And he's like, it's happening again, Dr. Loomis.
Yeah. Like, what? Who are you? Why are you talking like that?
It's so weird. But about this point, we got to talk about the death of so we get the death of the brother and the girlfriend. Which is way better in the producer's cut when he's stabbing her. In the theatrical cut, we get those weird, and you're like, oh, what is this travesty?
Oh,
and then
that was terrible.
Yeah, and then the producer's cut, we get like, you know, just him fucking stabbing her, and it sounds brutal. Those deaths are pretty decent. He gets his throat slit, and she gets stabbed to death. If we see one boob for our drive-in totals, by the way, one set of boobs for Joe Bob's drive-in totals. But what do you guys think of the scene where she basically so Danny runs out there, right? In the theatrical cut, it makes no sense why he runs across the street. In the theatrical cut, he literally just runs across the street. In the producer's cut, we get the voice, Danny. So we know he's being called there.
Yeah.
So it motivates him to go. In the theatrical cut, he's just a fucking idiot. What a dumb child.
Yes, dude, I was thinking that on the first watch too. I really was. I was like, of course he's gonna run across the street. What is wrong with him? That makes no sense. Now it makes sense.
So that whole scene, what do you guys think of the chase with the shape and her in that scene?
I like that. I like that scene.
I think it's pretty solid too.
Yeah.
And then we get the reveal. Guys, it's the same reveal in both, and then it veers off. But what do you guys think of the reveal of Dr. Wynn being the Man in Black?
It's like, duh. We haven't seen any other character.
Literally the only one it could be.
Yeah. The only other characters have been killed.
I think it was more impactful in the producer's cut, for sure.
Yes, because
we spent more involved. Probably.
Yes, you're right, because we spent more time with him, so we know him more as a character. We know more of he and Loomis's relationship and their friendship. So it is more impactful, I suppose. It's like, oh, he's the villain. Except that, of course he is. He's the only one that could be.
And just look at him.
Yeah, and also, but not only like, how terrible of a twist is that? How terrible is that reveal? That think about this. Put yourself in the shoes of fans from 1989 to 1995 that have waited 6 years for the answer to the Man in Black, who this Man in Black was, for a new Halloween movie to come out. And the answer is the doctor character that had one line in John Carpenter's original Halloween. And also he leads a cult.
Yeah, a little disappointing.
It makes perfect sense if you think about it.
So here's where the differences really take place. So
I sent you a message about this.
Yes, you did, about this movie being weird.
Watching
So the third acts of these movies are drastically different. The only scenes that are the same are the scenes with Donald Pleasance, because sadly, Donald Pleasance had passed away before reshoots could have taken place. So they could only reuse footage they could only use the footage they shot with him. And then Mitchell Ryan's stuff as Dr. Wynn was reshot using a body double and just spliced in. So let's break down these two different endings and the pros and cons of each. So let's start with the theatrical cut. So in the theatrical cut, first of all, both have this fucking hilarious moment where they say, we get the shot of him standing at the window after Carrie jumps out of it. And then they say, Dr. Loomis, I feel like I've been drugged. Because we have been drugged. It's like, why did you write this way? Why did you write this to where they had to be drugged instead of them just not being able to get there in time? And then he makes a connection of who the villain is, and he knows where he's going to be. That would make just more dramatic sense, and you wouldn't lose momentum by stopping everything and saying, oh, they could have killed us, but they drugged us because they want us to play their game. That's horrible writing. That's horrible writing, guys.
It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, in the theatrical cut, they go to Smith's Grove, where I don't know what the fuck is going on. That's not. I don't know what they're doing. Some kind of gene splicing, some kind of cloning mutation, some kind of gene therapy. I don't know what's going. I don't know anything. There's no point to the ending of the theatrical cut. They just kidnap Kara and take the baby, and then that's kind of like they do like an operating room thing. What do you guys explain the ending of this movie to me real fast?
Oh, don't make me try to explain this end of this movie, because I have to say
I
genuinely don't know.
Hot mess comes to mind. Hot mess.
I was so confused watching the theatrical cut that I was like, am I stupid? Like, did I miss something? Like, what am I missing here? Because I was like, this makes no sense. None of it made sense. The gene splicing, it was like they must have done like a test tube situation or something. I don't even know. I don't know why or for how or for what reason.
Yeah. So basically what we get here is it's all basically thrown out to us in Wynn's speech. It's kind of just an exposition dump. That doesn't make sense. So
that doesn't make sense.
We're led to believe that Smith's Grove has been trying to study the DNA of evil so they can control it for some reason. And that Danny was like a successful result of in vitro fertilization to clone Michael's DNA.
You got all that from the theatrical version?
I got that from reading the Wikipedia of the theatrical cut.
Oh,
I was like, Jesus, man, I missed like an entire section because I didn't catch any of that.
I didn't catch any of that either.
Because my entire life, I had no idea what the fuck. I've seen this movie 17 times, and I'm always like, what the fuck is going on here? Except gene therapy, DNA testing. That's all I knew, like cloning of some sort.
Yeah.
Because I hear those words when he's talking, but I'm like, what does it all mean? It's just nonsense, but that's kind of what it is. They're trying to clone Michael's DNA so they can control evil. And they want, in the theatrical cut, they want Loomis to join him to observe Michael's power, which doesn't make any sense. So it's nonsense is what it is. It's nonsense. It's stupid nonsense.
Terrible.
But we do get more action in the theatrical cut. We get a couple more chase scenes. We get the whole scene where they're running through the grates and the Shape is chasing them and shoves George P. Wilbur's face through something to knock down that one gate. And then we get the ending, where he hands him like a dead baby and beats. It's the worst. He beats Michael Myers up with a pipe.
Yeah, he does.
And we get a bunch of really terrible cuts.
Paul
what do you guys
Rudd
think of this ending?
kills Michael Myers with a pipe.
After he injects him with some kind of syringe.
Green goo poison.
Guys, this ending,
mix.
I don't see how this ending could be worse, honestly. This is the worst ending. It's like they intentionally made the worst ending possible. Like they were trying to kill Michael Myers, like in our reality of like killing these movies. So like we hate this movie. We're gonna make it, and we're gonna make it so bad that it never comes back. But evil prevails.
Yeah. There is the scene where it's a cool scene where he murders all those doctors in the operating room. Except Derek and I talked about this. What's the problem with it, Derek?
There's no point. Like, why would you let Michael Myers roam about your facility unchecked? Like, what's the point? And more importantly, what's his motive to? I mean, he doesn't really have a motive to kill, but like, it makes no sense from like their perspective of like why you would let that happen.
Yeah,
so you're talking about what we talked about.
He's
especially since
he's controlling it, isn't he? He's like the caretaker. He's like,
except
he's able
in the
to
theatrical
communicate
cut
with him somehow.
Yeah, but in the theatrical cut, he doesn't control him.
Explain any of that.
Yeah, really in the theatrical cut, he doesn't control him. And I guess they're kind of wanting to say, oh, well, he's evil, he's uncontrollable, which is fine, except it's nonsense. The scene looks legit, though. It looks like a cool-looking scene. Man. It's at least a good-looking scene. And then after he beats him with the pipe, we get a shot of Loomis saving them, and he stays behind. And then we get the worst ending we possibly could get, which is just Dr. Loomis screaming over a shot of the mask in a syringe laying on the ground. What do you guys think of that?
Sounds about right.
What'd you think of that ending, Derek?
I mean, I would take that over the producers ones, but I don't know. Maybe he did it again. He did it again. I don't know.
It's just something. It's just the shot is atrocious of just the mask and the syringe laying there is so dumb. It's so lazy.
Are you talking about the theatrical cut ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not good.
It's the worst. Just Loomis yelling over the shot of the syringe and the mask.
Yeah.
Awful. And then after the kick in the balls is right after it says in memory of Donald Pleasance. You're like, sure.
Just terrible.
Sure. Guy that cut all of his scenes out. Sure.
Oh my
In
gosh.
memory.
How just heartbreaking, just completely heartbreaking is that?
I know.
So bad.
Luckily, we get to see his performance in the producer's cut. We get to see it. So now let's talk about the producer's cut ending because, oh boy, it's a different can of worms. It at least makes sense, but it's also incredibly stupid because the plot, again, as we talked about, is dumb and not good. So in a producer's cut, they go full cult. And my biggest problem with the producer's cut is the fact that you just have, it's the staging of everything, right? So the fact that they have her tied up on that rock, and then you just have Michael Myers standing there.
Mm-hmm.
The way they have the shape just standing there is so dumb.
It's like he's a robot waiting for commands.
Yeah, it's so
It
bad.
really is. Yeah.
And then
Good analogy.
my favorite, the scene between Loomis and Wynn makes way more sense in the producer's cut because he's basically saying, I want you to take over controlling him, basically. You're the one that's going to be his watcher. And
Which makes no sense also.
It doesn't. It's also stupid because couldn't Loomis just say, "Oh, well, I'm going to fucking kill him"? Because you know what I mean. Like I don't understand it.
Why the F
Good
wouldn't
idea.
he pick Tommy Doyle to be the one who's watching out for him from now on? Because he's young, he knows Michael, he's been there the whole time this has been going on, and he's young.
Yeah. The fact that he's young is the biggest. My favorite is he's like, "I'm retiring. I want you to come back." I was like, he's fucking 95.
Yes,
what are you
dude,
talking about?
He's like could not be more elderly in this movie. And they're saying he's 75? You said he's 75 at this?
I think
Because
Donald
he seems
Pleasance,
90. Like,
Donald Pleasance passed away at the age of 75. Yeah, he was 75.
the way he's talking, like I couldn't help but like mimic the way he was talking, like the oldest man. Like
he's got a rasp to his voice.
like
he's
he seemed older than the bad guy, you know, the man in black or whatever.
He's supposed to be, but yeah. But
why
that's
would
what
you
I'm
want
saying.
him to take over?
That's what I'm saying. It's nonsensical. It makes no sense. But anyway, one of the things that makes me laugh super hard about the producer's cut ending is when Tommy Doyle is standing there waiting on Dr. Loomis. And he just sees the dude walking down the hallway in full, like, fucking. First of all, they just let people roam around in robes at fucking Smith's Grove. So it's hilarious that this guy's in full cult gear and he's just roaming down the fucking hallway. So Tommy follows him. Well, let's see where he's going. And then just so happens to find a robe hanging right by him.
Casual.
Sneaks in there, and then he just holds up freaking old Wynn with the, let her go. No, he's not bluffing. Let him go. He was fucking super quick about being like, just sounds good to me. Go ahead and untie her.
yeah. Like what? And also the line that he says seriously made me want to just shut the movie off.
What is it that
he says like, you guys have talent. You should work for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, nope, that's it. I'm done. I can't. It was the cheesiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So the ending itself is pretty bad because after they escape, the shape is chasing him, which should be pretty scary. And if he wasn't just standing like a robot that whole time. If what would have made more sense is if they
talk about this next part.
If what would have made more sense is if he would have fucking came out from like a room that they had him in and he fucking bowls out and then you're like, oh fuck, he's here.
Yes.
Maybe they're like, the shape's down there, we don't want to fuck with it. But like if they're like, oh, he's not here, and then he comes out, that's how I would have done it because I have more respect for the characters and the audience. But then, yes, you're absolutely right. This next bit happens earlier in the movie. Actually, he mentions it in this whole spiel when he's talking about the constellations of Thorn and all that shit. And then he mentions it to Dr. Loomis. He's like, Dr. Loomis, I forgot to tell you. I found out during my research there's also runes of light that can defeat runes of darkness. Like, okay. So Michael Myers is walking after them. Dr. Loomis shoots the thing and saves them. And Tommy Doyle builds a fucking circle with stones and cuts his hands. The runes. I apologize. And stops the shape in his tracks. It cancels him out.
I just imagined like the quote from The Wedding Singer where he's like, they were cones.
Yeah. They were
runes.
What do you guys think of
what
this?
What does he say to stop him once he's got him by the throat? What's the
Sam
magic
Hain.
word?
Oh, Sam Hain.
Which is pronounced Samhain for you
It is Samhain.
crazy people out there.
It is Samhain. We've talked about this when we did Trick or Treat years ago.
Yes.
It is Samhain. But yes, Sam Hain. He just says Sam Hain.
And you can't even hear what he says either. Like you're like, yeah, because like Derek, you're like, what did he say?
Yeah, Sam Hain.
No, I was baiting you. I knew what he said.
Okay. Because he like I was
just baiting you.
I didn't catch it the first time. I was like, he just mumbled something, and I don't know what he said. Like a magic abracadabra to make him freeze.
No, it was Sam Hain. And then after he's frozen by Sam Hain, he just walks out. My favorite, he just walks out holding the robe and throws it in the trash. And then
smiles.
He, smiles
the
car. And he's like, we got him. It worked, Dr. Loomis. Okay, great.
Now what?
You want to come with us? I've got some stuff to do. I'm not quite done yet. And they drive off, and Dr. Loomis, like a badass, goes back in to clear things up. And we see the shape laying on the ground. And he approaches him and rips it off, and it's Dr. Wynn. And he goes, it's face. Michael? He's gone. He's escaped. And then he makes he's like, I give the power to you. And then the thorn appears on Dr. Loomis's wrist.
Like the wolf man.
Yes, he screams in agony. And Michael Myers escapes into the night dressed as the Man in Black, which I actually like that part. I think that's a very Michael Myers thing to do, is to slip into the darkness. I like that. But it's shot horribly and goofily. And everything leading up to it is fucking stupid.
Yep. Agreed.
Yes. So that's that ending. So here's what we have. We have an ending that is nonsensical, horrible, doesn't make any sense, but has more action and some kills and some suspense. Then we have the theatrical ending, or the producer's cut ending, which makes logical sense with the story they were telling, but is just fucking stupid and makes Michael Myers look like a dork standing in a rock circle. It's not scary. Also, the problem is the third act of the producer's cut is just way too quick and way too easy. Like, they don't really have to struggle to do any of the stuff.
Yeah, they kind of run through a hallway, and that's like the struggle.
Yeah.
They're like, we have to get to this hallway.
Now,
steam.
Now, look, if they would have had to go through more trials, would that have negated the stupid shit? No, it probably still would have been bad. But at least something would have happened at that time. So, which ending is better? Or are both endings just bad?
Here's the thing, man. The producer's cut, it almost had me. I was on board. Almost had me. Until I got to that fucking ending where he made the circle and trapped Michael, dude. When that happened, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, all right, I can't.
No, so here's the thing.
Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it does make sense to the story they were telling. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not-
Like, and not for like the, it doesn't make any sense for the mythology that they had already established. It lost me.
No,
I
it's just dumb.
couldn't.
Is the problem? It's just horrible. Yeah, it's just dumb.
It is dumb.
So
I'm not saying it's not dumb. I'm just telling you, they almost had me. I
here's-
could have like been on board for it.
So here's the thing. Of the two cuts, the producer's cut is the better cut of the movie throughout the chunk of the film. Like, just, there's no question.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, it feels like a Halloween movie. All the stuff, the extra scenes work better. The music is better. The editing is better. It's just a better movie. The ending is just so dumb. So if we would have gotten the producer's cut with a better, a non so stupid ending, then it just would have been like, I don't know. Here's what I say. I don't know why they didn't release the producer's cut with just a new ending. Because the ending's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right? Because you could still have the cult stuff happen, right? But you just end it differently instead of him being stuck in a ruin.
but is that good? Like, is the cult stuff at all good?
No, it sucks. It's horrible.
So
But-
why did they do that?
That was
Are
the
they
best.
not
So-
horror fans? Like, what is wrong with them?
So here's a little bit of backstory. Halloween 6 took 6 years to develop because Part 5 was a failure commercially and critically. They painted themselves in the corner with the Man in Black. They didn't know what to do, so they started
don't do
writing. Well, they started writing more and more. There were several drafts, dude. Listen, believe me when I say that the version of Halloween 6 we got, you're not going to believe it, but is like infinitely better than some of the fucking scripts that came before it.
What?
There was one that dealt with virtual reality.
Because
Oh, they must have
computers-
watched Lawnmower Man.
Tommy,
They watched Lawnmower
uses-
Man, and they're like, we can get on board for
The-
this.
It's like
the
a money
plot,
grab.
the plot is for that one was Tommy uses virtual reality to like go, basically uses it as like a Ouija board to go back in time and see how the origin of Michael Myers started, and then the our main woman, our heroine, is another missing Strode, by the way. We didn't know about Michael's other sister.
Oh God.
And they defeat the shape. The only way to do it is to push him into Judith Myers' grave at 10 till 2 in the morning because it's a portal. It's a portal to another dimension. So, like I
Did
said,
that make it past the first draft?
they did several drafts of that one. And I'm like, because the Weinsteins like that cut. Of course they fucking did. So basically the backstory is Daniel Farrens is the writer of Halloween 6. Wrote a Bible of all the characters, everything for the Halloween franchise. Came up with a timeline of things. And Mustafa Akkad used that when he was pitching other writers. So then he finally pitched had Farrens pitch a plot, and he pitched the Thorn plot, which was different than the movie we got. It was more in, I guess the original script was quite different and way better. But like there was a helicopter scene in it, like a helicopter crash scene, and it was a much bigger movie. Jamie has a way bigger part. She survives till the end and then sacrifices herself to save the kid. Like it just is a much different movie. And then it got rewritten until they got this version, because I guess the original draft he wrote was too long, too big. So they took the first part of his draft and turned that into a movie. And he had sequels where like the whole town of Haddonfield was going to be in on the cult and shit. Which is dumb as fuck, but
well, there were a lot of people a lot more people involved in it than what I thought in the theatrical cut.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's why, I mean, basically they were ready to make the movie, and then it got rewritten. The director wasn't a fan of the Halloween movies, which shows.
Yeah, you think? Obviously,
he wasn't
any of us could have written a better movie than this, a better sequel.
And then he also wasn't a fan of Donald Pleasant stuff. He said he thought they were boring.
Ugh.
So
Get
that's
out
why
of town.
That's why he cut. That's why when they did the reshoots, he cut most of his scenes, and then added all the stupid guitar stuff and the weird flashing flares and the horrible shit that makes the movie unwatchable to me.
I'm straight up angry now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what else has he directed? Anything? Anything you know?
I don't think, probably nothing you know. His name is Joe Chappelle, and he directed some. He directed the first season. He directed some of The Wire, so he'd done that. He directed some of Fringe. So some TV stuff, some good TV stuff.
He should stick to those.
But he also, as far as films, it's only he also did we haven't gotten there yet, but the reshoots for Hellraiser Bloodline, he was responsible for those as well by the Weinsteins.
That makes sense.
Yep. He directed Phantoms, which we've seen. It's a Dimension film as well, starring Rose McGowan and Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Remember that one, Derek?
I do. Didn't it have Lee Schreiber in it?
It does, yeah. So that is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, producer's cut and theatrical cut. So, what are we going to rate each of these movies?
Do we want to do them together or individually?
We can do them.
Let's do them individual.
Two
different movies.
Yep. All right. Who wants to go first? Oh, no volunteers?
I'll do it.
I was trying to gather my thoughts. I'm like, oh crap, what are we gonna rate this? Two different ratings.
Oh man.
What did we? Can I ask a question?
Yep. We did not give Halloween 5 anything good.
I was actually going to ask, what did we rate the Munsters?
Oh, Derek raised the Munsters a 2, I think.
No, I didn't.
No, what'd you rate it?
Oh, it's like a 0.1.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, because I feel like this is still better than that.
Oh, it's definitely way better than that.
All right, so I rated the Munsters a 0.1. Lydia, you rated the Munsters a 1. Jamie, you're the most generous of us all. You gave it a 3.
That was very generous.
Yeah, I was feeling nice that day. What are you going to give this, Derek?
Man, that was 2 years ago, by the way.
Really? What did we rate Halloween 5, just for the record? Just so I know. We can cut it out if you need to.
Halloween 5. You gave it a 2. I gave it a 3. Jamie gave it a 4.
Gosh, I don't remember it being like that bad. You're muted, Jamie.
Oh yeah, Lydia. That was the one that had like the tan Michael Myers mask.
No, the skin-colored one.
I'm gonna get it. So
that's part 4. Part 5 is the one that had the freaking horrible plot and the cookie woman and the worst mask that looks like the alien-looking mask. The scene with him in the car with the woman.
Well, Jamie,
I
maybe
can't
you
do
should
it.
go first.
Neither one of these are really good. I got this.
Okay,
You're
all
good.
right, Derek.
All right.
No,
So I'm gonna give the
Jesus.
theatrical version. I mean, Donald Pleasant was in both the best actor. I mean, I didn't like the performances from almost anybody. The main actress she did a decent job, but man, like in all around, it just I don't know. I just wasn't into it, or just I'm gonna give it a 2. And then the director's cut, man, I tell you, I could have saved it. I probably would have bumped this up to like a 4. Except that fucking scene at the end, just I was like, what? That's where I sent that message to you. I was like, this is fucking weird, man.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Like I would have been able to like give it a mid grade score if they would have not done that. But that just really took me out of it.
Okay.
2.5.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like cheat off of Derek's homework a little bit and give the first one a 2 also, because I genuinely could not follow what was happening, like at all. I was like, I have no idea who these people are. I was so I've never been so confused in a movie, like honestly. And I mean, we've already said enough about how terrible the idea of this movie is. And yeah, Donald Pleasance is the best part of it for sure. And I'll give the
Producer's cut?
producer's cut. I'll give that one a 3. I'll give it a 3. I think it's a whole step better than than the first one. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. Like the ending is just slightly better, I guess. And the music, really, honestly, the music really, I felt like I was watching a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And not like a robot cult movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not quite as harsh as you guys. I think I'm right on board with close to the IMDb rating. I'm gonna give the Curse of Michael Myers theatrical cut a 4. Because there's stuff in it that's okay. There's shots in it that I like, but it's one of the worst Halloween. I think 5 is worse than this, but it's one of the worst Halloween movies we've watched so far. And I'm going to give the producer's cut a 5. I think it is also a whole step better. The ending just is so bad. If the ending wasn't so bad of the producer's cut, I would have given it a higher. If the ending was better, it might have even gotten like a 6 or so. Because I think overall the movie just feels more cohesive, right? I still don't love it, but it feels like a cohesive film at least. So yeah, not good. It's the second worst Halloween movie we've watched so far, because I think Halloween 5 still is worse by all of our ratings. I think I gave this the same. Did I give that one?
Okay.
So yeah, Halloween 5 just as boring as its problem. This one at least shit's happening. It's just not shit that I really wanted to see. But we'll bounce back next Halloween, because our next Halloween film is Jamie Lee Curtis returning to the franchise for H2O. So that'll be fun to watch. All right, guys. It's time to Atkinize this movie. Who would Tom Atkins play? Tommy Doyle.
Okay.
I mean, I would say literally anybody except for Donald Pleasant. Literally
Donald Pleasant
anybody.
gets to stay.
Play
Donald
the little
Pleasant
boy.
gets to stay. And then everybody else is replaced by Tom Atkins.
There we go. Perfect movie. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Hell
I think
yeah.
he would be like a good the man in black or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
That's
Something.
Dr. Wynn.
Dr. Wynn. He has like a weird first name or something though, didn't he?
I don't remember Dr. Wynn's first name.
I was like, it was like so strange I couldn't remember it.
Terrence. Yeah, it's Terrence. Yep, Terrence Wynn.
Oh, Terrence. That's not that weird, I guess.
Yep. Terrence Wynn. And then whose pick is it to watch for next week?
Well, I think this was your pick, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what was last week?
But yeah, it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Oh no. Let's do. Man, there's a few that I've been wanting to watch.
Throw them out there.
Let's just do the one that we all watched, and we can just do it for the podcast.
Okay, yes, perfect. Let's do the brand new Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. It is streaming on Max. I didn't have to look that one up because I know. So next week we will be doing that. Happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for sticking with us for this spooktacular episode. I know it was a long one because we had to go through a lot of details, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And tell us, sign off down below. What do you think? Which is the better cut? Is it the producer's cut? Is it the theatrical? Are either cut good? Are both pieces of steaming shit? Or are they the best in the franchise? I don't think anybody's going to say that second part, but it might be your personal favorite. But that'll do it for us today. We have all the tricks and none of the treats. Comment down below on what you would like to see us do for next year's Halloween, and we might mark it down. We might mark it down. But also we have some more movie news. We'll have the casting will be up this week. We'll have the casting attached. So the people that are attached to the roles so far will be popped in there. Also down below in the description, like I have for the last 2 weeks, we will have the pre-launch page. So go to that, sign up for that email. So that way you're the first to know when we are doing this. So next week, Salem's Lot. So for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, until then, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.